I am shocked at how many people are misinterpreting Phil Spencer in his apology video. These are people I expect to understand. Your Young Yaz, Benji Sales, even my friend and co-host on the Gaming Trend podcast, David Burdett, didn't get it. So, in case you're unaware, I'm going to break this down. Phil Spencer came on the Kinda Funny XCast, which is Kinda Funny's Xbox podcast. And he got on there and he apologized. But later, he started talking about strategy and what he thought Xbox needs to do in order to regain viability. This is what he said. I'm going to read the whole thing. Quote, "We're not in the business of out-consoling Sony or out-consoling Nintendo. There isn't really a great solution or win for us. I know that will upset a ton of people, but it's just the truth of the matter. When you're in third place in the console marketplace and the top two players are as strong as they are and in certain cases have very discrete focus on doing deals and other things that make being on Xbox hard as a team, that's on us, not on anybody else. Our vision is that everybody that's on console has to feel like they have a great experience and they're a first-class citizen. They've invested a ton in our platform. But we're not in a position, and I see commentary that if you just build great games, everything would turn around. It's just not true that if we go off and build great games, all of a sudden you're going to see console share shift in some dramatic way. We lost the worst generation to lose in the Xbox One generation when everybody built their digital library of games. We want our Xbox community to feel awesome, but this idea that if we just focus more on great games on our consoles, that somehow we're going to win the console race, doesn't really lay into reality. Most people, 90% of people that walk into a retailer to buy a console are already a member of one of the three ecosystems. Their digital library is there. This is the first generation where the big games they're playing are games that were available last gen, Fortnite, Roblox, Minecraft. The continuity from generation to generation is so strong. I see a lot of pundits out there that kind of want us to go back to the time when we all had cartridges and discs and every new generation was a clean state and you could switch the whole share. That's just not the world we live in today. There's no world where Starfield is an 11 out of 10 and people start selling their PS5s. That's not going to happen. End quote. All right, that was a lot. So let's focus on the part everybody is getting wrong. Quote, "It's just not true that if we go off and build great games, all of a sudden you're going to see console share shift in some dramatic way." All right, that's the quote. He's right. It's not true. But it's not true because of the consoles. It's true because you're missing the entire point. Y'all took that one point about consoles and made it all about consoles when Xbox has already shown that consoles are not their bread and butter. It's Game Pass. You know this. Y'all have acknowledged this. And yet, y'all are missing what he's saying. Let's just say Starfield comes out and it's an 11 out of 10. It's magnificent. Let's say Redfall wasn't a disaster. Let's just say an 8 out of 10. We already have Hi-Fi Rush. Most people think that's a 9 or a 10. And then let's say Halo Infinite was a flat 9 out of 10 and they got the live service stuff done right. It's a great game. Now answer this. If PlayStation has great games, Nintendo has great games, and Xbox has great games, what separates Xbox from the other two that already have established and embedded audiences? Nothing. So what does that mean? That means, at most, more people buy Xbox Series consoles and subscribe to Game Pass. And y'all think that's the win? No, it's not. To Phil, that's just existing. This is where y'all are missing it. Phil talks about how they lost the worst generation to lose because of the digital libraries that have been built. People don't want to leave their platform because of those digital libraries they've built on those platforms. So y'all are like, Phil, just give us great games and that will solve all the problems. And Phil's like, no, that will solve all of your problems. And what's our problem? Games. Great games. We need those. And y'all are like, but Phil, that's what you need for success. And he's thinking, duh. How else am I going to get people onto our platform? We need the games. But then what? How do I get people to stay in our ecosystem? That is what Phil is thinking. He's thinking about this kind of scenario. Starfield comes out. It's an amazing game. People from PlayStation buy consoles and buy Game Pass subscriptions to play it. Great. That's winning. That's not bad. He's not going to dismiss that. It's a win. But then Spider-Man 2 comes out. Now the PlayStation players are back in PlayStation doing PlayStation things. That is what Phil is trying to figure out. What makes Xbox different? What can we offer people that would entice players to not just enter the doors, but to stay and live here? Y'all YouTubers out there, right? Sure, a lot of you who watch YouTube have your own channels. The young Yaz out there, right? You know you can't live off of Google search. You need subscribers. People who are dedicated. You need people who are dedicated to your content. You need the reliable folk. If you just relied on the Google search folk, you post a video and hope the Google search picks it up, and maybe it does, but every single video, if you didn't make subscribers, every single video has to rely on nailing Google search perfectly every single time. That's just not one way to live on YouTube. You need subscribers so that when you post a video, it's going to be fantastic when it hits Google search. But you're already going to have, 15,000, 30,000 people already ready to click that video because they live there. They're subscribed to you. They like your content. That is what Phil is thinking about. He's saying, I need more dedicated people in our ecosystem. He's not stopping at great games and all is well. Great games is the floor. He's thinking about the ceiling. Now, we could debate whether or not this Game Pass, all screens, playing games, day one on Game Pass thing is the route to achieve what Phil is thinking about. We could debate that. But for Phil, it cannot just be great games. Yeah. Read the whole statement. Listen to the whole statement. He sees a world we're not seeing. He's seeing the effects of digital libraries. He cannot ignore that for the sake of just great games. Great games is the bare minimum for Phil. He has to think about ways to separate Xbox from PlayStation and Nintendo. Meanwhile, also thinking about how to further extend the lead against Amazon and Google in the cloud space. That's what Phil is saying. Tap whatever thumb you like and subscribe for more discussions on video games and video game news.